I'm about to share with you 3 ways that you can stop procrastinating right now.
No, don't watch it later, watch it now. Because I guarantee if you put these mental strategies into action, you're going to get more stuff done more easily.
Now, for those of you who follow my channel, you'll know that I do a lot of work with people with anxiety and depression, but often people really struggle with getting stuff done when they're feeling anxious or depressed. And guess what? Even if people aren't feeling anxious and depressed, people still struggle with procrastination. So I wanted to share some of my top mental hacks for beating procrastination right now. This is stuff that I share with my one-on-one clients that really makes a difference. Now, if you're tuning back in, welcome back. And if you're wondering what on earth is this channel all about, well, here it is in a nutshell. My name's Howard Cooper, and for almost 20 years, I've specialised in helping people to become free from anxiety. My background is I'm an ex-anxiety sufferer, and the system kind of failed me, so I had to track down really good quality tips and tricks so that I could help myself, and that's the stuff that I want to pass on to you. If that's the sort of content that you like the sound of, then click subscribe, hit the bell so you won't miss any of the new content coming out.
Now, very quickly, before I tell you what these strategies for beating procrastination are, I need to share with you one of the illusions about procrastination. Because procrastination often feels like we're a victim to it. We sort of question, do I want to go for that run, or do I want to do my taxes, and just feel that feeling of, oh, I can't be bothered. And we call that procrastination. But what if I told you that this is a chance to stop and say to ourselves, hang on a second, maybe I'm not a victim to procrastination. Maybe procrastination is something that I do and is a result of a particular pattern that I'm running. If I can tell you what those 3 things that are likely the cause of the thinking behind procrastination, then guess what? You'll be better armed and you won't fall for it anymore.
The first one is falling into the pattern of giving yourself mental overwhelm. So how do people do this? Well, I'll give you a really good example.
I remember working with a guy who struggled to go out for a run in the morning. He said he always felt unmotivated, couldn't be bothered to do it. I ended up saying to him, when you wake up in the morning, tell me, what are the steps for getting out and going for a run? And here's what he said. He went, well, I've got to open my eyes, I've got to get out of bed, I've got to go to the cupboard, take out my stuff, put my left sock on, put my right sock on. Can you see a pattern? He was literally breaking everything down into such a minutiae of detail that the whole thing almost felt overwhelming to him.
Now, if you wake up and in order to take action, you've got to do 30 things. You're mentally overwhelming yourself. It's like one of these long lists. And think about this. One of his steps, I love this, one of his steps was open my eyes. Come on. How can that be a step in the chain? But then I asked him a different question. I said, listen, imagine that you'd won a prize, the most incredible prize that you could ever imagine. And the only thing you had to do to go and claim the prize was you had to travel into the city centre, go to the competition headquarters and say, I'm here, and they'd give it to you. Tell me about the steps when you wake up in the morning to going and getting the prize.
It's simple. I'd wake up, get dressed, go. Can you see the difference? Instead of breaking down the minutiae of detail, he was just doing the high-level chunks that had to be done. And that's a big difference. Now, likely, one of the reasons why procrastination happens is you didn't realise unconsciously that you were overwhelming yourself with detail. But now you do. You can do something about it.
So my recommendation to you is if you catch yourself thinking about something that in the past you've put off and you find yourself going into that, oh, I'm going to have to do this, and this, chunk up 3 steps maximum and see what difference that makes. Hold on. By the way, I put out this tip on TikTok, and by the way, if you're not on TikTok, go follow me over there. There's currently over 32,000 people there, and I'm always sharing psychological tips and anxiety-beating hacks to change your life. And someone said,
hang on a second. No, Howard, it doesn't work that way.
We've been told that if you want to motivate yourself to do something so that you don't overwhelm yourself, you've got to break it into bits. You break it down into bite-sized chunks. So yes, I agree with that, but they're actually pointing at a different thing.
And the distinction that I want to make is there's a difference between psychological preparation and logistical planning preparation. So for example, you can't write on your to-do list, write book, because you're never going to face that challenge, write a book. It's too big a piece. Where do you even start? So yes, there is merit in those contexts. At the planning logistical phase, of going, well, how many chapters are there going to be? How am I going to structure it? Is there going to be a summary, a conclusion? What are the topics that I'm going to cover? And you break it down into small bite-sized chunks. However, That's the planning. When it comes to writing it though, and you look at your list and it says to write the introduction or the about me section, that's where instead of overwhelming yourself with the I have to walk over to the desk, I have to go and make a cup of tea, sit down at the desk, get the pen out, that's the difference. We're not talking about overwhelming yourself psychologically speaking.
Yes, from a productivity planning point of view, I have small chunks that I'm doing, but then when it's time to do those, I'm psychologically chunking up in my mind, and I hope that distinction makes some kind of sense and helps. The second way of stopping procrastination right now is to become aware of the tone of voice that you use inside when you're talking to yourself about the task. The mental tone of voice is very powerful and can influence. And by the way, if I said to you right now, I'm really enjoying making this YouTube, you wouldn't believe me. Why? Because even though the words were, I'm enjoying making this YouTube video right now, you would override the verbal message because the non-verbal, my body language, my tone, implied that that really isn't the case. By the way, I am, actually. But the same thing happens internally. The way in which we deliver our internal words also makes a difference.
Let's go back to that gentleman who was struggling to get up in the morning and go for a run. I began to question him, when you wake up in the morning and you have that sense of procrastination, what tone of voice does your internal dialogue have? And when he reflected on that, he became clear that he was talking to himself, saying to himself things like, "Oh, I have to go for a run," or combine that with the minutiae of details, I have to get up, I have to open my eyes, I have to go to the drawer. And if you have a tone of voice like that in your head, it's not hard to see why you're going to struggle to motivate yourself.
Guess what the difference is when he thought about going and collecting the prize from the city centre? Well, get up, do this, do that, and get it. It's an excited, fast-paced tone. This is kind of amusing to me because, you've got insomniacs, people who lie in bed awake at night and they're going, I can't sleep, oh my word, I can't sleep. And they've got this fast-paced, excited voice. No wonder they can't sleep.
If my wife was talking to me like that all night, I also would struggle to sleep.
And then they wake up in the morning, finally, after getting some sleep, and then they say to themselves, I should probably go for a run. And then they wonder why they can't sleep at night, but they can't motivate themselves in the morning. Swap it round. If you want to increase the chances of getting stuff done when you think about it in your head, if you catch yourself talking in that dull, bored tone, in that slow pace, speed it up and give it, even if it's artificial at first, give it an excited tone.
Get up, put my stuff on, go for a run. Much easier.
That will help trick the system into giving your body more energy and increase the chances of you doing it.
So it's now beginning to hammer down with rain. But nevertheless, I want to give to you the third thing that people tend to do when they do procrastination. And that way, you will again know not to fall for it in the future.
This is about where your focus is. So are you focusing on the end result, or are you focusing on the toughest part of the challenge? Because here's the thing. Let's go back to the guy who wanted to go running in the morning. When I asked him, what do you picture when you think about going for a run? Guess what? He was picturing the toughest part of that. The huffing and puffing and struggling up the worst hill. Well, that's likely not going to motivate. However, when I asked him, when you think about going and collecting the most amazing prize, what do you picture?
The answer was easy. He said, I'd be picturing receiving it, spending the money, spending his prize.
Guess what he wasn't doing? He wasn't imagining being stuck in traffic on the way there. No, he's glossing over the difficult journey to get to the city centre. He's focusing on the end result, the prize. So here's something that you can do that's very tangible when you think about doing one of those things that you have been in the past putting off. If you think about that and you catch yourself focusing on the worst moment of it, flip in your mind to the end result and see yourself having achieved it.
Now, hold on a second. There is something to be careful of.
Because there is something called premature achievement, which if you're not careful, it might end up backfiring and demotivating you. There is some research, if I remember off the top of my head, it's in a book called Rethinking Positive Thinking by Gabrielle Oettingen. I may have said that name wrong, please don't hold it against me, but link is below. If someone imagines too vividly having done something in a particular way, then what happens is they get to feel that wonderful feeling of they've already done it. Which is all well and good, but guess what? Why do they now need to do it in order to feel that achievement? They've just had the feeling of achievement without having done it. So now they don't need to do it. Can you see what I mean? This is now robbing you of the motivation. And I think she talks about, people who fantasize about having lots of money, often take less action to make any. Why? They've already achieved financial freedom mentally, so why do they even need to do it physically? Don't fall into the trap of premature achievement. That's why I chose my words very carefully when I said, see yourself having done it, not see what you'll see when you've done it. That's a big difference. So when you make a mental image, don't imagine what you'll be seeing and hearing when you finished it, i.e. connecting with it. Make a picture of yourself so you're dissociated from it, and the you in the picture has done it. That way, it gives in your mind the direction that you want your brain to focus on, but you don't get to feel that good until you've actually done it. So that's a little nuance to share as well, which a lot of people gloss over.
And by the way, these patterns all work together. Break it down into bite-sized chunks, have an excited tone of voice in your mind, and picture the end of the result, having done it.
Doing these three things are going to help you break that pattern of procrastination and get stuff done.
In the comments below, tell me, what do you procrastinate about? What do you put off doing? And what changes for you after you watch this video?
If you've got any other tips on beating procrastination, then let us know as well, and speak soon. Hope this has been useful. All the best.